Namaskar. You are watching Daily Prime Info. Tonight, we focus on a growing energy concern for India, one that could soon reach every household kitchen. Nearly 90% of India's LPG imports pass through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical maritime choke points. Now, with ships stuck in this narrow corridor due to the escalating Iran war, the question is, what is India staring at next? The global energy markets are already feeling the tremors of the conflict. But for India, the real battle may not be fought at the petrol pump. It may be fought inside the kitchen. Because India's biggest vulnerability right now is not crude oil, it is cooking gas. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow stretch of water, barely 40 kilometers wide. Yet it controls a massive portion of the world's energy supplies. For India's LPG shipments, this choke point is often described as the chicken's neck, a single narrow passage through which most supplies must pass. And the numbers tell the story. Around 90% of India's LPG imports move through this route. Meanwhile, the United States, the world's biggest LPG producer, accounts for just 8% of India's imports. Analysts warn that if supplies through Hormuz are squeezed, India could feel the pressure very quickly. Currently, the country has only about 21 to 30 days of LPG stocks. And if shipments are disrupted, finding alternative supplies could take a month or even longer. LPG powers millions of Indian kitchens. And unlike crude oil, there are very few immediate substitutes. The Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas is already operating in what officials describe as war mode. Reports say the government has instructed oil refiners to prioritize LPG supply for domestic customers. While supply diversification was already being discussed, India is now also exploring emergency sourcing options. Despite the concerns, the government maintains that the country's energy position remains stable for now. Officials say that as of Thursday, there is no shortage of LPG or LNG. India currently imports about 195 million standard cubic meters per day of natural gas, and only around 60 units come from Qatar. The government says it is already in talks with Australia, Canada, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States to secure additional supplies. But when it comes to crude oil, the picture looks far more comfortable. Floating in the seas around India are millions of barrels of Russian crude oil. According to a report by Bloomberg LP, there are over 15 million barrels of oil on tankers near India and another 7 million barrels near Singapore. These cargoes could reach Indian ports within a week. Many of these shipments were previously stranded because of United States sanctions on Russian oil. But the Iran conflict has suddenly made them extremely valuable. Late Thursday night, the United States issued a temporary waiver allowing India to resume purchases of Russian crude. And tankers have already begun redirecting toward Indian ports. However, the economics have changed dramatically. The Russian crude known as Urals was earlier sold to India at deep discounts. Now reports say it is available only at a premium of $5 to $6 per barrel. Indian refiners have already purchased more than 10 million barrels of Russian Urals crude in recent days. And analysts believe imports could rise quickly again, possibly crossing 2 million barrels per day. For now, India may have enough oil. But when it comes to LPG, the fuel that powers millions of kitchens, the real test may just be beginning.